They say history repeats itself. If that is true, then it's best to know of the worst killer known throughout the world, and how he was never caught. This is in order to tell young ladies and young men of the danger that once was and may come to be once again. Many of you have read the books or have seen the movies of Jack the Ripper. Let me tell you the truth behind the myth of who he really was and the theories behind him. I've gotten interested in Jack the Ripper because of the mystery of how he ended up getting away, and how he was never clearly identified on who or what he truly was. First, I will talk about the different theories of who he was. Second, why people feared him. And finally, why he was never identified. The case information of Jack the Ripper was mainly of the 5 victims that he had killed: Mary Ann Nicholson, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Edos, and Mary Jean Kelly. These killings were mainly on August 31st, September 8th and the 30th, and November 9th at the Whitechapel district. This was in 1888. How he killed is peculiar in a way, by laying his victims so their head was to the left, and then slowly slicing across the right, as to not get blood on him. He also left letters to the police stating "boss" at the beginning in order to signify things. Theories on Jack the Ripper: he was a doctor of a high-class man who was well educated in medical engineering. The peculiar cuts on the bodies were of procedural matters. The second one is that he was really a she. An eyewitness claims that she saw the 5th victim's clothing on the killer as he was getting away. And the second claim to this theory is that a midwife would have easy access and knowledge of the killings that the killer knows. The third and final theory is that Jack the Ripper was really a group of people, a cover-up for an illegal marriage of the Queen's grandson and to Prince Eddie. This led to a illegitimate child produced and the prince with syphilis. The killings were out of revenge. Since no one knew who he really was, everyone was in fear, but mainly of doctors. Why people feared him was because of how he killed. Surgical marks mean that he was there to kill, had experience with tools and medicine. People feared walking alone because he would strike at night and could easily approach women. People don't know why he stopped killings, because they only happened for 3 months. 5 bodies were found, but some say there were 11. Jack the Ripper's sudden disappearance caused people to question if it was safe to walk alone, or if the killer just moved on or is never caught. So to this theory, there were many suspects. Most were men, but at least one was a woman. They also say that he could have moved to another country, wanting schooling or new job or a new place to live. Number 3 is that either he died or was in prison for another crime, either for old age or accidental. The killings stopped even though no one knew why and how, but they were grateful for the sudden stop in the deaths. Even though Jack the Ripper has vanished from the streets of London, his spirit still stalks the streets and our minds, wondering whatever happened to the killer who got away. First, you've learned about the theories. Second, you've found out why people feared him so much. And third, why he was never identified, caught, and paid for his crimes. So even though he has many books and movies about him, no one, not even London, knows who the great killer Jack the Ripper truly was. That secret will stay with him, his victims, and the district of Whitechapel itself. Hopefully, with this information, history will not have to repeat these events ever again.